What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Just kind of sitting here in my PJs in the dark, looking at stonks. And what do you know? The NASDAQ has been cranking and banking this morning. I mean, I feel like it's kind of not really that confusing. So, just pop a line there. Pop a line there. Switch to the 4-hour. Pop a line D. Pop a line D. Switch it up to the weekly. Oh, bring that puppy back on over here. Oh, so that's going to be the weekly. Man, that's close enough. Doesn't really matter. The puppy dotted. And all right, cool. We're done. And so this is what the market looks like in a nutshell. All right, so here's the NASDAQ selling off from its all-time highs to the long-term statistical mean. It bounces. Can't break. Hits a statistical mean. Can't break, bounces. Pulls back to the statistical mean pre-market one day, bounces up, and that's the day that it actually breaks. Next day, we gap up and over it. We have a ghost wick, one of those random wicks pre-market that just happen that you just are like, what? So you get a ghost wick down to the statistical mean. Market then creates a bull flag. We break up out of that bull flag. We try to get back over previous price resistance. We can't by the end of the day. We sell down. Pop back up, try to do the same thing that day. Can't. Sell back down. Where to? Statistical mean. We bounce overnight. Then we roll down and actually break it successfully. That's that really big sell-off day. So you go through the statistical mean here. You go through the statistical mean here. You'll see market bounces back up, cannot get back through the statistical mean. It tries here and over the previous price, fails. Then does what? Rips all the way down. This is called the half deviation. And then the one down here, the big one, this like fatter dotted white line, that's a weekly. So then the market breaks the statistical mean, sells all the way down to the weekly support. You'll see we bounce, pull back, try to break it that day, bounce. So now there's a double bottom. Okay. You know, arguably, some might call it a higher low, but a double bottom. And then you'll see the market breaks up to the statistical means again. All right. So pretty much what this means is market sold down to the mean, bounce, broke the mean, went to long-term weekly support. We have bounced back to the statistical means, which is the levels we just broke down. You will not, listen to my words, you will not see any sort of cool bullish movement like you just saw again until you're actually surpassing this statistical mean, which is basically called like 395.70 to 396-ish, depending on where you crossed, right? It's uptrending, so like if it happened right in the morning, yeah, maybe it's 395.55. If it happened by the end of the day, then maybe it's 395.72, 395.90, etc. You get it? So you're not going to see any crazy long bias movement today or until tomorrow or whatever until you actually surpass 395s, 396s, whatever that statistical mean price is when it happens. So that's the FYI. All right, so what you should kind of watch for today, probably on the cues for right now. Now, of course, you always kind of want to make a plan going both ways, but this is kind of the way that I see it. So the market hits the weekly. We have run overnight to the statistical mean. Now, this is sort of the first kind of up gapping day that we've seen in a while. So there might be, you know, a lot of people jumping on board to try to trade up long. I could see that. So this is what I would say. You know, if the market wanted to pull back, it should then pull back down to this price, wherever that statistical mean is, okay? And then if the market wanted to go up, then it would just go up to wherever that statistical mean is, which is 395.53. So let's say market pull down start day, look for dip buys starting around the 391.40s, right? That could be a good idea. And if markets just rip out of the gates and you're already long, you might look for that as sort of like a short-term profit take level, depending on, you know, how you trade. But I would expect today, I wouldn't expect, I already, you know, it's already here. It is, right? We have a zone from here to here. This is the same thing as yesterday on the SPY. Let me explain that. So remember yesterday on the SPY, some of you won't remember this, but you know, remember how, well, you see these two lines, right? So you see how the price was in between them. So we were in a zone until we surpassed or could get and hold above the top one or the bottom one of that zone. We wouldn't really pick direction either way. So you'd stay consolidating till you broke and held above or broke and held below. So going back to the Qs this morning, pre-market, we have a zone, right? So you will not sell or snap unless you are actually coming below here. And you will not break out and just chug and run unless you're above here. So for now, you already know the trading range is from here to here. And unless you're out and above or down and below, you're not going to get a trending move that way. And you won't get a trending move that way. Okay, so those are some things to consider today with the QQQ. The other thing here too is if you look at the SPY is slightly different, right? Because the SPY is not in between, it's below. So a lot of times this is where you would see in this setup, you would see a lot of times the market like try to do a flag below, break into, right? Since it hasn't already broke into, there might still be some optimism with the SPY where since it hasn't broken into, they might try to break it into at the flag and run it up to like 468 or something like that. So to put it simply, you know, both the SPY and the Q for right now. On the SPY, I mean, basically the max target would pretty much be this previous high or that statistical mean on the day. But first, maybe watching for a pullback or some consolidation on that trend. And then, you know, back to the QQQ. You know, when we look at the QQQ, you know, kind of the same thing. You know, I think for me, my max upside would be this trend line until I see some trading action there that looks good or volumes, you know, well going through it. Otherwise, I would probably be looking for like a dip or maybe even a pullback off that move. So anyways, those are the levels. Those are the ideas. Pullbacks down to 391.43, maybe dip buys and holds there. And then, you know, maybe moves back up to 395.46, something like that. So that is a QQQ for you today. Have a good one.